Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. Without bashing anybody's work, let's just say the owner of this vehicle paid for results he did not get. Hence, it's here. And even through the dirt, before we even wash it off and clean it up, you're going to see exactly what we're about to tackle today at our shop on this Mustang. I'm not going to gab all the way through the video. I'll let you listen to some of the peaceful sounds of detailing. However, I'll chime in now and then to describe the choices we made and the decisions we've made for some of the steps here and there. This is the obvious wash process. One of the few times I break out the foam cannon, as most of the vehicles that come in, we have the customers clean and wash them for us. So we just do a quick rinseless or waterless wash in the shop and get to our work. On the rare occasions, we'll use the foam cannon. It'll get me a chance to break out the soft detailing brush and agitate around the edges and really remove some of that pollen and dust and grit. Obviously, a highly customized, repainted Mustang with coyote emblems. The emblem on the side says 505 and is adjusted every time horsepower is bumped up in this vehicle. So, rather unique, really something a little bit different to work on. When we get inside, I'll show you what makes me nervous about working on something that came from a body shop, not knowing the type of clear that was used, how much is there. We'll get into that as we get into the shop. The shop manager is already in waiting for me, but is quite distracted by, well, lunch. With the vehicle cleaned off, even without a swirl finder, you're going to be able to see what we're going to tackle here today. Amongst the swirls and sand marks, there are etching and outlines and staining and just overall dullness to this finish. It's not just a straight up black, it's black with blue, small blue metallic flakes, which you should be able to pick up a little bit better with the swirl finder. And they will make some of those sand marks and swirls and imperfections stand out even more. We do have our work cut out for us. As soon as the car hit the parking lot, I already had an idea of a combination or team. That means polisher pad and correction fluid, which I'd like to use or think I could use. But without knowing what type of clear is there and how much they gave us, we're going to do as many test areas as it takes to find that perfect combination. So first, a heavy polish pad, not a heavy cut pad, but a heavy polish pad, and we're going to use the Phoenix Papa Cut. So this is like a one step. It can cut, it can finish. We don't want to start out overly aggressive. If we can find a combination like this that works without removing a ton of that fresh clear, we're going to stick with it. So let's see what happens. With the residue and the masking tape removed, we can see some slight improvement, some results. I'm not completely happy yet, so I'm going to do another test area or two and find that perfect combination. Plenty of imperfections to chase back here, so let's try the 50/50 pad and cut and finish from Sonax. So the 50/50 pad has 50% cut fibers, 50% finish fibers, all on the same microfiber pad. Let's get to work and see what kind of results we can get with this team. You'll notice the consistency when it comes to one correction video to another here, and that's how we handle the polishers. Under control, nice and slow, giving the polisher and the pad and the correction fluid time to do its work, yet fast enough to not spike the heat on each panel. The polisher is between the third and the fourth speed setting. Correction speed is an inch every second or two. And pressure down on the polisher is equal to no more than a firm handshake, if that makes sense. And as I bring you in closer, you'll see some more definitive results than we had on the hood. And all this done without removing much clear at all and without spiking the heat too much at all. Heat, not good for all three layers, the primer, base coat, clear coat, which expand with heat in all different directions. And if you're spiking heat on one part of the panel where the rest is ambient room temperature, it's a lot of stress. So this is the team. We're going to make it a two-step. We're going to have the cut and finish with the microfiber pad and finish up with Phoenix EOD Fabulous Finish and a polish pad. So that's going to be the team. Now, let me walk around and show you what I mean by things get a little, they get me nervous when I work on a vehicle that has been painted. These measurements, the depth gauge, they're going to be all over the place, going from panel to panel. And you never know how much of it is clear, how much of it is primer, how much of it is the base coat. So it's a guessing game, and that's why we want to remove as little as possible, not knowing how much we have to play with. From the manufacturer, we know it's going to be around 2 mils or so. From a body shop, it could be up to 3-4 mils, or it could be as little as a mil or a mil and a half. Same thing with the gloss readings. They're going to be all over the place, and it depends where you measure them. But one thing that's certain, there's room for much improvement on every panel. We now know the results we're looking for. We have the team and the combination to get us there. Time to do a little bit of what should have been done in the first place, and that's protecting some of the materials that border and surround the paint, like the rubber trim, some of the grommets and seals, and emblems, anything we can find that the pads can bump up against, or we can splatter some polish and compound in there, and just makes the job an even longer one trying to remove all that junk. Just break out some masking tape and protect them. Right here is an example of some compound already thrown in the cracks and crevices that we have to clean up later. And that's all there is to it. It didn't take us a ton of time, but it sure saved us a ton of time after the corrections done for cleanup and possible damage. By the way, this work does not have to be done solely with a dual action polisher, as I teach my employees to try and master the rotary first, and then switch up to a DA every once in a while just to keep things fresh. So the first thing they'll grab is a rotary. Rotary is excellent to cut and finish as well. Different size polishers, backing plates, and pads cannot be avoided as this vehicle has a ton of angles, large, small, steep, and shallow, so the whole arsenal was laid out. And we just continue the correction all the way around the car from top to bottom. By the way, on these curved body lines, the sharper the curve, the smaller the polisher, backing plate, and pad you want to have to get in there and do the cutting evenly. Okay, so boys, start some of the finishing touches. We can do a little bit of a walk around here. This is after a panel prep. We're going to take a look at this clear coat, squeaky clean, after a correction, before protection. So these are the results with no boost of gloss, no, not glassed over from a coating at all. These are just 100% pure results from our work. I will pull it outside. We've had a few days of overcast and cloudiness and rain, but the sun is finally starting to peek through, and since it's my worst critic, we're going to pull it outside and let it be the judge. We did the correction, but without knowing how much clear the body shop left us, we did step away from denibbing and removing the fisheye that was deep into the surface of the paint. The gloss is now there, ready to enjoy. And as we walk around and put some numbers behind what we're seeing, they're going to be a bit more consistent and a lot higher than before we started. As I often get asked how long these projects take, a project like this, you can really go down the rabbit hole when it comes to chasing perfection. But we did it safely and quickly, and it should only take you a few hours. And the shop manager seems to approve as well. It was a good day. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. Kind of give you guys a little bit of an example of what a day in the life of the shop here is with some of these projects that come in. If you have any questions on the process or the results, don't hesitate. This has been Brian from Apex Detail, and we'll catch you in the next video.